So the big question is this: how are marketers like us, who don't cut corners and rely on hype-filled, black hat, scammy marketing, who are always focused on providing value first and over-delivering for our customers with every single purchase they make, how do we market our products and services in a way that allows us to get our message out into the world, dominate the competition, and create a lifestyle of freedom and abundance without sacrificing sales and profit? That's the riddle, and on this show, you'll find the answer. Hey, my name's Misha Wilson, and welcome to Marketing with Misha.
What is going on, everyone? Misha Wilson here, coming at you for another episode of Marketing with Misha. Let me know what your name is and where you're coming in from. Let me know with a quick yes, you can see and hear me loud and clear. And I'm going to go ahead and get this show on the road. I have a really valuable lesson, I think, for you here today, where I'm going to be talking about the different hats of a business owner and why you probably see me do certain things in a certain way sometimes, where sometimes I'm really active and I'm kind of everywhere on social media, and then sometimes, maybe not so much. And maybe you're kind of wondering, is Misha even doing his thing? Is he just hanging out at the beach all day? Is he slacking? What's he up to? And I want to go ahead and address that, go over it, and share with you guys some insight that I've learned from a couple of really good mentors. One mentor is probably the smartest business mind that I've ever worked with, a gentleman named Keith Cunningham. And with that said, want to go ahead and dive right in. So good to see all of you guys. Give me some comments, likes, hearts, and shares if you guys get value. And today I want to talk once again about the different hats. And there's a weird echo, but I hope this sounds all right. So oftentimes you'll see me and I'll kind of, sometimes be really active. I'll sometimes be more behind the scenes. I'll sometimes be focusing on one area of the business. I'll sometimes be focusing on a totally different area of the business. And that's kind of specifically designed based on the fact that each and every single business has different things that have to get done. And each and every single thing that has to get done is usually done with a different hat that's worn by the person, running the actual business. And for that matter, there's also totally, different styles of businesses. There are businesses where there's only you as the star of the business. There's businesses that run totally built on systems where you don't necessarily have to be out there at all, right? There's businesses where the team just runs the business. And then, of course, there's combinations of kind of each and every single one of those actual variations. And so the four hats of business that I'm kind of constantly going from one hat to the next, to the next, to the next, are firstly kind of the artist hat, the creator, right? Secondly, the operator, the person in the actual trenches, building out the systems, building out the infrastructure, setting up the processes, hosting the actual webinars, creating the webinar content, writing the email follow-up campaigns, etc. That's kind of the operations style of the business, so the operator. Next, the owner. So the owner hat is much more of a hat where you're kind of looking at all the different people on the team, how all the different people on the team are doing, which areas of leverage you aren't necessarily taking as much advantage of as you could, and how you can take more, add more leverage, measure results a little bit more, change activities, measure results further. The owner is all about measuring and changing based on, once again, results that are measured. And then lastly, the investor, all right? And the investor hat is more kind of the defense, right? It's more kind of, what might go wrong. So the owner, the operator, the creator, all of those different roles. If you're in the creator role, you're creating the content, right? I'm creating right now. You're writing the books, you're writing the ebooks, you're writing the emails, etc. That's the creator, and that's all done to drive revenue, to grow the business, to expand the business, to take the business to the next level. And the investor is kind of the polar opposite, where it's looking more at risk mitigation, more at, what might go wrong in this whole setup? What could potentially go wrong that might slow us down? Maybe instead of just trying to go faster, we should look at some of those, what might go wrongs, and take some time to address those things before they go wrong, because it's always easier to address it before it goes wrong in order to go ahead and once again avoid that roadblock altogether. And so oftentimes I'll kind of be, wearing one hat one day, the next hat the next day, the next hat the next day, etc. And I'll kind of jump from being the creator, where I'm out here doing a bunch of Facebook Lives and, active in the community and trying to provide as much value, through this medium as I can. And then the next day, I'll be more focused on kind of being the owner, right? Where I'm looking at, all right, how can we tweak the mentorship program? How can we add more value to the mentorship program through our mentors, through our group coaching calls, through, our deliverables in the back office, through the experience at the actual live workshop, which then usually ends up bringing me back to the creator, because I then kind of have to, get in there and tweak some stuff and change some stuff and adjust some stuff in order to go ahead and make that overall experience better, right? So usually I'm kind of constantly jumping from one to the next. And then on certain days, I definitely, spend more time looking at, risks, looking at stuff that might go wrong, looking at how can I reduce this risk? How can we manage this risk? How can we not ignore risks? Just because, you ignore a risk does not mean that the risk isn't there. And so I'm usually kind of jumping from one to another, but every now and then you guys will see me where I kind of go, a little bit 0 dark 30, right? Where I'm not necessarily out here as much, where I'm not doing Facebook Lives all the time, where I'm not doing, Marketing with Misha episodes like I usually am. And that's, I promise you, not because I've just decided to take a 2-week or 3-week vacation from the business. That's not usually what I do. I've taken maybe, one week vacation since we actually got started. And it was for one of my good friends in the industry, his bachelor party. And so really we were still talking marketing and business. But usually I've put on another hat, right? And so over the course of the last 3 weeks or so, where I've been a little bit more quiet, I've put on a few different hats when it comes to the owner kind of hat, where I've looked at how we can adjust stuff with the structure and the infrastructure of the team members and the A players and the processes and the systems. I've put on the operator hat in actually making the adjustments, right? We have a brand new automated webinar that we're going to be testing here very shortly that all of you guys will, most likely see, considering you guys are so active. That's kind of, again, the creator and the operator, right? So I created the presentation, I put that whole thing together. I then, once again, recorded the thing, made the whole thing ready to go. So again, I've been jumping from all of those hats from one to another. And the big takeaway I want you guys to get is, I think you hear a lot in business that, if your business doesn't run itself perfectly without you being there, it's not a good business, all right? Or you hear that you got to work 16 hours a day nonstop and you got to hustle nonstop. And if you even think about applying leverage in your business by building something that kind of runs without you there all the time, right? You're slacking. And the big thing I want you to get is that all of those various kind of, this way or that way styles of approaches to business, usually, at least how my mentors taught me, those are extremely oversimplified. And it's really going after a very simplistic, way of thinking in order to kind of tap into the power of polarization. All right. So everyone who loves the hustle, grind, hustle, grind, hustle, grind is going to love that message. And they're going to hate the whole, 4-hour lifestyle or 4-hour work week lifestyle message. And then on the flip side, the exact same thing holds true. Everyone who loves the, 4-hour lifestyle, work 4 hours a week and sit back on the beach for the rest of the month, again, they're going to love that message and they're going to hate the opposite message. So there's more money in polarization. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that where most businesses fall is in a place where you kind of have to go from one to the next, right? You need to be able to put on one hat one day and then put on the next hat the next day. And you kind of need to be able to go ahead and know which hat you have on at what time based on what outcome you actually want to go ahead and produce. And it doesn't make the business a bad business, right? The example that Keith always uses, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had a business when he was, back in the NBA. LeBron James has a business in the NBA as a player. And give me some comments, likes, hearts, and shares if you guys are getting value. These guys have businesses as players where if they don't show up and shoot the shot, if they don't show up and perform, if they don't show up and bring their talents that day, that business doesn't keep going, right? They get cut. They get, told, well, this ain't going to work by the team, because at the end of the day, Jordan and LeBron can't delegate their specialties and their skill sets to the next guy because they're so good at what they do, right? Where on the flip side, the team owner, the person who owns, the Lakers, Jeannie Buss, she's in a totally different role, right? And it's not that the LeBron James and Michael Jordan business is bad. It's not that the Jeannie Buss business is bad. The biggest thing to be aware of is that it's just a different business model. And sometimes what you'll face is having to jump from one role to the next and wear one hat one day and the next hat the next day. And just because you have to do that, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. All right. And so when you guys see me a little bit less active out here, creating less content and less kind of forward facing, which I would call this, right? I'm, of course, out there and doing my thing every which way. Once again, it's usually because I have a different hat on, focusing on a different area of leverage, focusing on, a different process. And I'm either in the operator, the owner, or the investor kind of seat at that point in time, looking at how to, systematize, how to create better processes, how to create a better culture, how to align the team more effectively, how to mitigate risk more effectively, which risks am I not seeing, looking at all of those various kind of items and figuring out how we can get just a little bit better in those areas. So with that said, just based on the fact that I haven't done a live here for a few weeks, I would go ahead and I figured I'd go ahead and kind of lead with this piece of content. I'm once again going to be jumping back in for more of these lives. You guys will see me more often. I might even be getting something else off the ground, which you guys will be seeing very soon as well. Then you guys will also be seeing the brand new automated webinar, which I believe is going to absolutely crush it, all of which I'm really excited about and all of which I've been working really hard on behind the scenes for the last few weeks. So with that said, hope you guys got a ton of value. If you did, don't forget to comment, like, heart, and share. And with that said, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe by hitting that button right there. And until next time, over and out. Appreciate all you guys. Talk soon.